Let's talk about starting your Sgraffito Spoon Rest project. You have a choice of shapes. You can create a spoon rest that is circular, or you can create a spoon rest that is spoon shaped. First of all, start with a template. You will need some template paper, and you're going to create a circle. Remember, this is not a working spoon. It's a spoon rest or a spoon holder. Now you need to cut them out. If you're not sure how to cut this out and you want to make sure it's truly symmetrical, fold your paper in half and then cut it, because that will give you a symmetrical shape. After you have made your templates, go to your clay. You're going to need to wedge your clay. You're going to roll out a slab. You can either roll it out by hand using the rolling pin and wooden slats if you want a slightly thicker slab, or you can use the slab roller. You need to let that clay go to leather hard, regardless, not just for the Sgraffito technique, but also for the next steps. How do you make your clay go faster to leather hard? Use some newspaper. Put your clay between two pieces of newspaper and periodically switch out the pieces so this liquid in the clay is getting absorbed by the newspaper. While that is happening, because this takes time, while it's happening, go to your planning worksheet. Since you have a template made, you can just trace your template right on the planning worksheet. Same thing for the circle. And then start working on your actual designs. Now, a couple things about your design. You have a lot of choices to make. You must use unifying shapes in a creative and unique way. It must use 4 to 5 different types of lines. And remember, I have a resource about that. The designs can be representational and or abstract. You can even include words. After you trace the plan onto tracing paper, then you'll decide what will be carved away. So don't worry about that right now, but be sure you're drawing the lines that you plan to include. For example, all my flowers are going to have these straight lines here. These lines are thicker because I plan on making them thick when I carve them out. On the bottom of the circular paper, you're going to indicate 4 to 5 different types of lines your design uses. Please use words to explain. Once you receive my initials, that means I have approved your design. So once your clay has gone to leather hard, we're going to take our template and cut out our shape. So make sure you have enough clay for either this shape or your spoon shape. Carefully cut it out with a fettling knife. And then after you cut it out, make sure you take some water, add a little bit of water on your fingers or on the edges, and make sure you smooth this all out. Smooth it out completely, because maybe you didn't cut very neatly. Maybe the cuts are a little uneven. Maybe you have some clay that got caught up in the process, but you're going to get this all smoothed out. So for the circular spoon rest, you're going to have one area that's kind of flat, but all the other areas are going to be slightly pinched upwards. So you're going to slightly pinch up the walls. You can smooth out the edges while you're pinching. We're not making them thin, we're just pulling up the walls. But remember, for the circular one, you do need a portion that is flat. So I'm going to have the whole thing be pinched upward. That's going to give that effect. Now for this shape, for the spoon-shaped spoon rest, all the edges are going to be pinched upward, all of them. So in this photo here, you can see the spoon-shaped spoon rest and the circular one. These are the two I've been working on. After you complete this part, again, your clay should be leather hard. You're going to go ahead and choose your glaze color. You're going to apply the 3 coats of glaze. This is the circular one. Here's my 3 coats of glaze on the spoon-shaped piece. What do you do when you're waiting for that underglaze to dry? Go back to your planning worksheet, get some tracing paper, and trace your design. Be sure to draw over all of the lines that you plan to transfer. After your underglaze has dried, return to your tracing paper and you're going to actually trace your design onto the surface. Now be aware that the sides are lifted up, so you have to be gentle with your clay. You're going to use a pencil. Don't use a mechanical pencil. Could use the end of a ball stylus tool as well, but we need to transfer all of these lines. Now, something to keep in mind when you transfer your drawing, when you're transferring your lines onto the clay, any indentations you make into the surface, they stay there. So just be very careful. Now, try your best when you're tracing your design. Remember, the clay has shrunk a little bit since this was originally cut out, so be aware. If you need to move the paper around, you can. So I'm just going to demo really briefly. All you're doing is you're just drawing gently over your lines. You need to hold onto the paper. Okay. And you might have to lift it up once in a while to see if your design is transferring. All right, we're in the home stretch here. So on this example, this is the turquoise color. You can see it a little bit easier. That's literally this was transferred due to the pressure from the tracing paper. So what do you do next? Well, you go back to your plan, you grab your Sgraffito tools, and you start the Sgraffito process. Just make sure when you're scratching anything out, make sure you have newspaper underneath and make sure you have your fan brush. Now, if you start Sgraffitoing, that's okay. You can let it sit for a little bit, but just keep an eye on it and find the areas that work best for you. Remember, you need to have about 50% carved out. And you feel like there's way too many crumbs. Your clay just might still be a little soft.